Hey guys, Stephanie here, and today we're going to be taking a look at and installing the street version of the MBRP Installer Series Cat-Back for the 2015 and newer EcoBoost Mustang. You're going to want to be checking this Cat-Back out if you're looking for a Cat-Back that's going to open up sound and volume on the EcoBoost, but that isn't over the top, that isn't too loud, and that doesn't have any drone. The street version of the MBRP here is known to give more of a deep tone than anything else, and like I said, it doesn't have any drone at all. The Cat-Back is made of 3-inch aluminized steel. It costs just over $500. I'm gonna call the install a 2 out of 3 wrenches in the difficulty meter, and as far as loudness goes, on a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being a quiet upgrade and 5 being a very loud upgrade, I'm gonna rate this one as a 2 out of 5. And of course, we'll go ahead and show you how to get it installed now. For this install, we used a 3/8 drive impact gun, a 3/8 drive ratcheting wrench, a short extension, a deep 15mm socket, a deep 13mm socket, a shallow 13mm socket, a 3/8 drive 5/16 Allen key, and a flathead screwdriver. I think it's easiest to drop the Cat-Back as one big piece, so we're going to start at the front here. We're going to loosen the 2 nuts that are on the clamp at the front by the resonator. They are 15mm, and then we'll move to the back, loosen the hangers on the car, and then drop the Cat-Back as one piece. So we loosen the nuts on our clamp, but the clamp is still holding tight. And if your clamp does the same thing, what you can do is you can take a flathead screwdriver, and I'm going to use it to open up the clamp. There are also tabs on the other side. You can use your flathead screwdriver to pull those back too. That'll make the uninstall a little bit easier. So these are the tabs on the other side of the clamp that I was talking about. I'm going to take the flathead screwdriver, I'm going to use it just to bend this back a little bit, and I'm going to bend this one back as well too. Now we're at the first set of rear hangers, which are these right here. I have a 13mm socket. We're going to go ahead and remove the bolt from the hanger, but we're going to leave the hanger clipped into the body of the car. By leaving the hanger clipped into the body of the car, that gives us a way to still hold up our Cat-Back until we're ready to drop it. There are 2 bolts holding our last hanger in place right here by the exhaust tip. These are also 13mm. We're going to go ahead and remove them. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. We are going to loosen both bolts on the rear hanger and remove them. We have the stock Cat-Back on the ground compared to the MBRP Cat-Back. The MBRP Cat-Back is made of 3-inch aluminized steel tubing, and it has a wide pipe design. Of course, you are eliminating that resonator that's up front here in the factory Cat-Back, and that's good for a few reasons. First of all, it's going to open up sound and volume. It's also going to open up exhaust flow, and you do happen to be dropping a little bit of weight by eliminating that resonator. Then you have MBRP street mufflers. These are known to give a deep tone. There's a little bit of popping and crackling on D-cell, but you don't have an overly loud system that's going to have a ton of raspiness and a lot of drone associated with it. Lastly, the Cat-Back finishes off with MBRP's polished slant-cut 4.5-inch tips. Alright, so before we install our new Cat-Back, we do have to transfer over our 4 hangers as well as the clamp from the front of our resonator. So I did spray these with a little PB blaster. You guys can use WD-40 if you need to, and I do have a rubber mallet here to help me get these out. Now we're going to transfer them over to our new Cat-Back. We'll do the same thing with our rear hangers. Alright, so at this point we're ready to get the first piece of the Cat-Back installed, which is the wide pipe. So we have our clamp in place here. One thing I do want to point out is that you do need to make sure that you install the wide pipe correctly. So there's a flat piece of the wide pipe right here. This needs to be facing down towards the ground. So we're going to rotate the wide pipe I'm gonna go ahead and get this clamp in place on my factory cat pipe, and I do have a pull jack here that's gonna help me hold up the Y pipe and keep everything in line. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just pushing forward a little bit and getting this seated in the clamp. I'm gonna leave everything loose until I have it all lined up. All right, I'm not gonna completely tighten these, I'm just tightening them up a little bit. I wanna make sure that I can still move this pipe around if I need to. All right, now we're ready to grab the next piece of our Cat-Back. I do wanna say, make sure you get clamps in position before you put the pipes together. So I'm gonna go ahead, get a clamp over the Y pipe. I'm going to slide this end of the pipe into the Y pipe, and then what I'm gonna do is clip the hanger into the body of the car, and that's gonna hold the pipe into place for me. We'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll go ahead, we'll get a clamp over the Y pipe. We'll slide our pipe into place. And clip our hanger into the body. Now we're ready to install our muffler portion. Now, two things I'll say here. First of all, make sure you have a clamp ready to go. You also want to make sure that the first thing you do is get your hanger up and under your rear valance. You don't want to be having the hanger catch on the rear valance. So we're going to slide that up into place, and then we're going to work our muffler onto our pipe here. Then we'll do the same thing with our hanger. We'll clip it into the body to hold everything up into place for us. Real quick before I move on to the other side, I am just gonna hand tighten a bolt into place here, just to make sure this hanger doesn't pop out. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. We have a clamp on our muffler already. We'll make sure that our hanger gets up in the correct area before we slide this end onto our pipe. All right, now we're ready to get our exhaust tips into place. You will need a 5/16 Allen key in order to tighten them down. So I just want to make sure that the tip is pointing straight forward. So it looks good there. I'll go ahead and tighten this down. So we'll do the same thing on the other side. We'll get our tip in place, and we'll go ahead and tighten it down. All right, so our exhaust tips are pretty straight, and I like the alignment of the Cat-Back, so what we're gonna do now is go through and tighten all of our clamps. I'm back to the 15mm socket to tighten this clamp up front. So one of the last things we have to do is get all of our hanger bolts in place and tighten back down. So we're going to start back here at the rear hangers. We already have that one bolt that we started threading in, but we have to tighten it down. That's gonna wrap up this review and install. Keep in mind, you can always check this out more online right here at AmericanMuscle.com.